Oh, yeah, that's sharp.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's not sharp. I mean, it doesn't have like an edge, but it's got a point.
I should file it down and make an edge.
Just make it a real sword, a real tiny sword.
Hello, everybody. I'm Will.
And I'm Kristen.
And this is why I'm watching Drag Race. So this is episode 10, I think.
Honestly.
We are into the thick of it. We're down to 7, finally.
Yeah.
There's not a lot to talk about in this episode. No. Although it was an interesting episode, and we definitely learned some stuff, spent some time with the queens, but they were doing makeovers on each other.
Yeah. They had to turn them into each other.
Yeah. We had I don't know what the psychic was. That was weird.
I think it was just for time, because they also really let Denali run off at the mouth at the end. And I was like, you're filling for time. You have to be filling this for time.
With where?
At the very end. It was just nonstop for like 5+ minutes. And I was like, this is too much.
Yeah. The psychic thing was fun, although they ruined the best clip by like releasing it early with like the psychic queuing in on what do they call him? Rosanali?
Something like that, yeah.
Denali? I
don't think that was it. I don't know. But you're right, we saw that last week in the like next week on.
So it's like, I think it was earlier in this week, but it was really funny because she was like, is there a crush here? And they were kind of like, maybe. And Olivia was living.
Oh, she was.
She was having the time of her life.
Olivia was hook, line, and sinker for this psychic. She was like, oh my God.
Also, Tina's dad was mean to her, and Utica had a cow. Which, okay, we actually
both of those things check 100%.
We do sort of subscribe to the psychic.
A little, yeah.
However, I mean, that's a given. I'm like, so you had a cow, right?
Yeah, right.
let me go out on a limb here
100%.
And say you grew up on a farm.
I'm also more, I'm less of a psychic person and more of a, like, the stars are telling me something person. I'm a little less as, like, this human person can tell me what's happening. I'm less subscribed to that, unless it's Tyler Henry.
So
he's real.
He's magic. So they were paired up. We had Simone and Utica. Simone was not confident in that pairing.
No, she was not. On the one hand, I was like, girl, it's perfect. You are the exact same shape as each other. I was like, you can do it. But they are so different, like, personality-wise.
Utica was very excited, and Simone was white-knuckling.
She was like,
the first...
She was really pulling together the scraps of her self-confidence.
Yeah, and I do love Utica.
Me too.
It's part of the season where I just wonder if it were a more traditional season, if Utica's edit would have been tighter, because she's rough around the edges in ways that I think might be a result of the editing. So
interesting.
Do you get that?
Yeah, I do. I see it. You said you were going to give me some tea, too, some behind-the-scenes tea.
So I watched a video. It was really good. The creator was Kayla Says. And she basically, I don't remember if it was just speculation on her part or she actually had any inside knowledge or something, but she posited that some of the production issues with this season is pandemic related.
I'm sure.
Because the way the impression I got from her video was that the secret celebrity was meant to keep going, and it didn't. It abruptly ended.
The like Anne Hathaway thing.
No, last season with
okay, with the judges.
Yeah,
okay.
And somewhere in the contracting of all of this, where that got cut short, they added stuff into this season to make up for you know how production contracts are weird.
Yeah. Okay.
So that was the impression. Like I said, no, whether she had sources or speculation or something, it felt right. And
that feels correct. Yeah.
We've had like 5 episodes of this season where no one went home.
That's true. It's so weird.
And like, it's there are pros and cons because, like I said, I mean, we've gotten actual time with these queens,
which is true, and which I do love because that is my biggest issue with competition shows. I mean, even down to something so charming with like Not a Mean Bone in Its Body, which is like the Great British Bake Off. I'm always like, oh, but I feel like that person who went home first was actually really fun. Can't they hang out? Like,
well, we're also at a place where it's like, other than like a quip or like a backhanded comment, there's not a conflict now.
Yeah.
There's no real, as evidenced by this episode. I mean, this was 2 hours of sort of just hanging out.
Yeah, which I love.
Well, I was going to say, that's not, some people would find that a complaint. I mean, it wasn't exactly riveting television.
Sure, but I mean,
it was interesting.
I thought the pairings of all the queens were fun enough that it like carried it through.
So Tina and Rosay hate each other.
Oh my God. I love it.
Hate each other.
Hilarious.
It was palpable. And I had forgotten that when we were introduced to them, that they knew each other, but it was more like Rosay was like, oh, Tina's here.
Yeah.
Tina's a big deal. And I think what Rosay had said was that I don't have any beef with Tina.
Yeah.
But Tina thinks I do.
Oh, right.
Or
That's
like,
right.
Or like Tina has beef with me.
Yeah.
So my memory was that it was a one-sided feud.
For me, it also, look, I don't want to.
Sure you do.
I do. I really do. I think it's a little sour grapes on Tina's part. As a boy and as a drag queen is what I'm going to go with.
Are you implying that someone younger and hungrier is coming down the stairs?
Well, sure, but I'm also just saying that Rosay is hot and Tina is not.
I don't know, with that Neanderthal brow.
Yeah, hot.
Yeah, I agree. I'm sharing your sentiment.
So hot. Also, there was a lot of Tina Burner shade about Rosay's eyebrows, and I was like, bite your fucking tongue.
That's what I mean. And
bite your tongue.
It just sort of, I think with all 4 groups, I think one of the queens was more successful than the other. I also was having a hard time judging this, because it's like, okay, so if Rosay did a great job as Tina, is that a victory on Rosay's part or Tina's part?
It's
Do you know what I mean?
So like that's the other thing that actually kind of bothered me this episode is I think that they judged the physical look more than they judged the physicality of the person, which is a little annoying because I think Denali did a good job as Olivia. I think she like embodied that pageant walk and everything. She really did that. And all they said was like, that's not an Olivia dress. And I was like, first of all, it 100% is that like off the shoulder florally, really luxe kind of thing.
Well, because there was talk about Candy and Gottmik about how they had the hardest challenge. And yes, I'll give that to them. However, I was going to say, Olivia has such a physicality herself that sometimes it's like Denali can't just mimic her body movements the way that they kind of think they can. Right. As evidenced by the team that did the best was Simone and Utica. Yeah. But no, I think Rosay did a better job as Tina than Tina did as Rosay.
100%.
So Tina and Rosay's makeup just looked like a Dr. Seuss drawing.
Is it one of the fish?
No, I don't have a specific one in mind. I just mean like the way, like the shape of everything, of her hair, her face, the eyebrows and stuff. It looked like it was drawn.
Okay, that's fair.
In a Cat in a Hat, like in the background of a Cat in a Hat book.
That's what I was gonna say too. Is like Rosay's makeup is so specific for her face shape, which is very jawline, cheekbones, eyebrows, brow line, and Tina's face is very like an oval. You know what I mean?
It also didn't copy. It doesn't copy.
It doesn't copy paste at all.
Where like Gottmik does.
Yes, Gottmik definitely does.
And to a lesser extent, Tina I think kind of did because I mean, as Michelle was saying,
just black out your eyes.
We got some pushback for like our Tina shade, and
did we?
Oh yeah.
Oh no, I'm sorry, she's not for me.
We're just talking about a show that we're watching. You know what I mean?
But she's not for me.
I don't mean personal. I'm playing into the like reality show of it all. This is all theatrics. Like if I met her, I wouldn't.
Of course, no. I'm sure that Tina's fun to hang out with,
and I'm sure that she's excellent. They can't stop explaining to us that she is.
But here's the thing you have to understand about Tina is that she's really big in New York. And I'm just like, great. She's not doing it for me on this show.
It just feels like it feels like she's not in the Snyder cut. Like I feel like the bulk of her material is on the cutting room floor. Do you know what I mean?
I totally know what you mean. That's hilarious. Oh my god.
And I'm just sort of like, well, I mean, I know what movie she thinks she's in.
Yeah,
She's committed to her own narrative, and it's a mildly delusional one. Anyways, so okay. Olivia looked just like Denali.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was that like Snow Queen wig.
Maybe.
Because we've gotten some meme fodder out of that look. But she looked just like Denali.
Did.
I think Denali did a good job as Olivia, but there was like a bubbliness that wasn't quite there. Like she wasn't quite vivacious enough, I think.
I do feel like one of the issues, and I do not mean this as shade against Olivia because I think she's super talented and I like her a lot. But I think that there's less to do, Olivia.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think
there's not a shtick.
I think that Denali, honestly, contrary to what Candy Muse has to say, I think Denali had the hardest job on stage tonight because there's not a shtick with Olivia Love.
Well, and furthermore, your favorite part that they do every season where they make the queens...
I hate it so much.
Like, send someone home. I loved seeing someone just be gracious with Olivia. And also... that kind of thing, I mean, I don't know what I would do if I were in that position.
Yeah.
I feel like I would be the person being shit on. I just do. I am usually pretty great. And also, I mean, it's like, it can backfire.
Yeah.
I mean, if the judges, just because they all picked someone to go home doesn't mean that's who's going home.
Yeah.
I mean, the judges could see that as the queens ganging up on somebody. So
for sure.
It's not.
And that's the other thing, too, is like, I know in that situation, I would be like the overly, you know, I would want to be doing the right thing. And so like my sort of like guilt about the situation would like make me pick myself because I wouldn't want to pick anybody else. But then every time someone picks their self, they're like, well, why do you think
that's almost a death sentence? Okay, so the thing is, with everyone picking Olivia, for me, I was almost like, that's a bit diplomatic because Olivia's so young. Like, she's young and new. She's the one that's only 1 year into her career.
Okay.
And so I think there's like a seniority element where it's like, you haven't earned it yet.
Sure.
And I think that's part of why Olivia did not get butthurt.
Okay.
Because Candy, I mean, honestly, we are 10 episodes in. I like Candy as a personality. I like Candy, and I like a decent amount of her work. Her material.
Yeah. I just
but she cannot take it.
Snatching an insult out of the jaws of a win, where I just was like, stop schooling Michelle Visage.
Like stop talking, and then. I just completely kind of got the dynamic with Denali, where Denali was like, I don't know, I just figured you could take it.
Yeah.
Like, I just figured that it would be, I'm not going to say myself, and I'm not going to say my partner.
Right.
And Candy's been in the bottom. I don't know. I sort of got it, and I just think.
Well, she also didn't even. Well, she said Gottmik, which I guess is like a ding against Candy, but I like that the thing that Candy took as the biggest insult was that Gottmik looked like Tina Burner. And I just was like, that's pretty funny.
Because that's the thing, though, is it's like, Candy will be the first one to tell it like it is. Like, Candy will be the first one that's like, I'm just being honest. You just need to, you know, there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
Like, and it's like, well, then when someone
you
gives
have to be able to take that.
You have to be able to take it on the chin.
100%.
And so it's just frustrating. But I frankly, I do feel like I feel like Candy has exhibited growth, and that conversation in Untucked was nice, especially considering the beginning of the season. But I
do agree. I've come around on Candy. She's still not my favorite, but you're right.
I mostly just think she's funny.
As a personality, and I like a lot of her drag looks, and you know, I'm a little more on Team Candy, especially now that Tina Burner has earned my ire.
You went hard. You were really.
No, it was like all of a sudden I was like, I cannot take you anymore. This, I don't know what was it, but this was it.
There's something's not connecting.
Yeah, no.
Something is not like it's not flesh.
Yeah.
But and then I mean Gottmik, I could honestly see Gottmik winning this, and that's part of where we're at. Is like I was actually very sad to see Denali go home.
Me too.
Mostly because with as produced as this show is, I can't believe they never found a way to pit Rosay and Denali against each other.
Same.
Like in a lip sync battle or something.
Yeah.
And the way that I feel about it was I'm like, I feel like I feel like Olivia should have gone home based on this episode.
Yeah.
But Denalia is not going to win. Denali is... As I said that, I was like...
Well, you said Olivia, and then, I get it.
But Denalia, it's like...
You did it again!
Denali is not going to win in a way that I think Olivia still could.
Sure.
So it's like, I would have sent Olivia home based on this.
Yeah.
But I don't think Denali's
got it to the end. Yeah, I agree with that.
Because that's sort of like, I think Simone is the front runner. I don't really think anyone's a shoo-in, but Simone and Gottmik, I think, are the two strongest. I would like a top 4 with Rosay, mostly just because I like Rosay.
Me too.
I feel like we're getting a top 4 with Candy, and I'm fine with that. But it's like, I mean, like, Tina, she's not going to win this.
I think the 4th spot is really up for grabs.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it is, and I mean, I'm doing the same thing with Rosay, where, like, because she's my favorite, I'm like putting her in there, but for me, it's definitely Gottmik and Simone, and then I want to say Rosé, and then I think the 4th one is really like rotating 4th.
Because I think Utica will have a long and successful career, but I don't know that this is her time yet. I think she's still a little bit new.
She's new, and I
don't think she's quite hit her prime.
There's a naivety there where because I appreciate it, and it's something that we watched the Trixie Mattel and Bob the Drag Queen talk about last week's, or was it the bag?
Last week's.
It was last week's. And I think I agree, because they were like, I appreciate that Utica wants to be respectful of like the afro and stuff. Mm-hmm. I get it. I agree with that too. But she's taking it to a degree that I'm like, you're being too careful in a way that is like almost also offensive, because you're trying too hard. And it was like, if Simone is the one who's like, this is the look I want to put you in, I think you're in the clear at that point.
You know, I'm in a place where I'm like, the less I say, the better, because that
was all I was gonna say.
No, I know. And it's like, I'm very open-minded across the board. You know, it's like, I'm very sort of like, I'm the kind of person where if someone does something, it's not so much what they did. I don't look at what they did so much as what was the intent.
Sure.
And so there are things that some people are like, that is absolutely off limits, no way. And for me, I'm sort of like, well, why did they do it though?
Sure. And
where
also
is it
like
coming from?
Yeah.
And so I'm the kind of person that like, and certainly maybe, I mean, in today, I actually related to and appreciated Utica's utter terror.
I agree, yeah.
Especially from the internet.
Sure.
DragCon, she's fine.
Yeah.
But comments on the internet, I totally get it. But it's like, in my resting state, I'm of the mind that if Simone did something to me,
right,
I am safe. This
is
a social contract that we have entered into together.
Course. Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah.
And I think everybody involved has the like wherewithal and the like brains not to be like, I'm gonna paint Utica black.
Well, and furthermore, I mean, because going back to the afro, the Bob Ross thing, it's like,
which again, hilarious.
She liked that, but at a certain point when RuPaul is sort of sanctioning something,
right?
I mean, RuPaul's never done anything questionable before,
except for all the fracking
and that guy that drowned.
Oh no,
she prayed.
Oh no, I didn't know that.
It's a deep cut.
Oh boy. So everybody knows about the fracking, but everybody doesn't know about the drowning guy? Jesus. Oh,
it might be an urban legend. I don't even know at this point.
Okay.
I'm going to cut that all out. But so I mean, I really appreciated it. And I think they actually really brought a lot out of each other.
I do too.
If anything, it really sort of cemented that Simone can do anything.
Yeah, 100%.
There's not a thing she's not capable of pulling off to a T.
She was definitely great. And I agree. I think they had the most fun being each other. And I definitely agree. I think, you know, it's the type of thing where they were both really grateful to each other too. Like Utica was like, I've never felt so powerful. And I was like, that's awesome. Mm-hmm. Because I think that's something that Utica needs, is like a little more power and a little more confidence in her own abilities, because I think she likes that she's
got, major horse girl energy.
Yeah.
And she's a little skittish sometimes. And
that's the thing, is like, I like her energy and I like her style and everything, but she's very much the weird girl. And I think she's not but she wears it a little like a costume and not like a badge of honor like Evie Oddly or Crystal Method did. Like, she's not 100% in her skin yet.
She's also, I mean, she has not had the She's All That makeover yet.
Yeah.
She's close to it.
Yeah.
She's got the glasses off, but the ponytail's still there.
Yeah.
And I think I think she just needs to make her be like Jessica Rabbit or something one week.
Oh,
like force her sex drive out. Or something. That sounded weird. You know what I meant.
Force the sexy, because she's like, she's done pretty. She's done enough
and
pretty
goofy.
stuff and goofy, but you're right, sexy. And she almost got it this time. She was very like very long and very like shoulders back, and it was good, but it could use one step more.
Mm-hmm. I think Candy did the best that she was able to do. And I think Gottmik also knocked it out of the fucking park with, I mean, because that looked like Gottmik on Candy.
So I think Gottmik did a better job, and it is only because Gottmik is not thick. So it's like hard to like move your really thin body around like Candy moves her thick body around.
Candy throws her weight around.
She does in a very compelling and like confident and good way. And you just like little tiny nugget.
You end up with Gottmik hula hooping around the stage.
It's just like, so I mean, she did the best she could, and the look was there, but it was like the physicality of it. You can't really. It's very hard to do that.
So it was fun. I actually enjoyed besides the fact that it was shocking that Denali went home.
I kind of can't. I kind of can't believe it at all.
But that aside, it was a relatively low stakes episode, and it was kind of nice to just hang out with these people with minimal conflict.
Yeah.
And
even the conflict we thought was going to happen was immediately resolved.
I kind of can't wait for the reunion this year.
I think it's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
I hope they can do it in person, but I don't think it's going to.
Oh, I hope so too.
I don't think it's going to be in time. Yeah.
So, okay. Well, can you think of anything else that we need to touch on?
Not really. Oh, I will say, Rosay's look was my favorite of the night, actually. Her Tina look. Because like the outside was very a Tina like 50s housewife dress, and then she took it off and it was like a leopard leotard.
She also managed the reveal really well.
She really did. It was great. That was, I think, my favorite. I mean, I loved the Utica and Simone, but
Tina's, it's funny because that's a little bit your style. You kind of like the body old school queens, but
Nina West was my favorite 2 seasons ago. This is not. It's really the
Nina West is hard up for Rosay. She's been flirting with her on Twitter.
Be still my heart. No, there's just there's not like a meshing going on for me with Tina Burner's attitude and personality and drag. It's not meshing the same way that Nina did.
So, okay, that was our take. If you don't like it, cool. I'm sure you'll let us know.
Yeah. That's fine. Keep the comments coming. We actually love them. So
we really do. I do think a couple of you need to take it down several notches, but it's not that serious.
Look, we've had a lot of booze and a lot of Del Taco, and we're coming at you hot.
So, all right, cool. Well, hopefully we'll see you next week.
Bye.